All right, so you got Melo, you got LiAngelo. What's next
Yes.
for LiAngelo?
LiAngelo's like this. Everybody keeps saying, "Oh, he didn't get drafted." Okay, you act like he ain't gonna work no harder to do what he do. All my boys gonna play on the same team. I'm gonna have another league or something after this.
Okay.
And watch,
right.
Jello will be taken care of. He's
That's
19.
right.
Ain't like he's 24 and be like, "I didn't get
He
drafted."
got plenty of time.
He'd be colder at 20.
Yeah.
21, he'd be colder than that.
Okay.
So like I said, at the end of the day, all three of my boys gonna play on the same team. They did it once in high school and went undefeated.
Okay.
You don't think they're gonna get better as they grow up?
Of course.
I don't think nobody can beat the original Big Three. All these NBA trying to create chemistry with LeBron and Paul George and whoever come to their team.
Yeah.
My three been together since day one. The best
That's
chemistry
true.
you can get.
That's true.
Don't
JP Productions.
Anybody who can put 3 kids in the top level of their sport, there's something amazing about that. Now, the third son I'm talking about here is LiAngelo Ball. He's the proverbial middle child who sits in between LaMelo, who was of course the NBA Rookie of the Year, and the older brother Lonzo, who just signed a big deal with the Bulls as the starting point guard. Now, after a short stint in the G League and a Pistons Summer League invitation that never quite panned out, LiAngelo seems to be making the most of his opportunity this time around in Vegas, currently for the Charlotte Hornets. His debut against Portland was a wild success, 16 points in 16 minutes and shooting 5 of 8 from the three-point line. He even hit this crazy half-court buzzer beater Thursday versus the Spurs. Now, it's going to be a challenge making the roster for sure, but LiAngelo could help the Hornets sorely lacking in shooting. Now, Lavar might not be able to beat Michael Jordan 1v1, but he just might have 2 kids on Michael Jordan's team, LaMelo and LiAngelo, and that in and of itself is a feat that cannot be matched. This FYF Sports Minutes Lamont, we are back with another podcast episode, and today we got to talk some NBA Summer League basketball. Summer League basketball has started, man. The NBA constantly is finding ways to keep people engaged with all of these teams, these players. Even after the finals, even after the draft, we are completely engaged in Summer League. Nothing else seems to matter right now in sports if you're a basketball junkie. And, you know, you got to give a big shout out to the NBA and all of these teams that are participating in the Summer League for how they have made this event out in Las Vegas a really good event for fans, especially as fans are starting to get excited for new talent that's potentially going to be entering into the league, and some of these new players. This draft class that we just saw is projected to be one of the best draft classes over the last 10 years. So there's a lot of hype that these players have to live up to. All right, and one of those players is LiAngelo Ball. All right, everybody knows who LiAngelo Ball is, brother of Lonzo and LaMelo Ball. I mean, he's the only Ball brother currently not on an NBA roster. And I think the best thing, you know, the best thing about this situation is, and this is what everybody wanted to see LiAngelo Ball just get an opportunity. He previously had an opportunity with the OKC Blue on the practice squad, which really wasn't even a real opportunity to play. He then, you know, last year he was on the Detroit Pistons Summer League team, but they didn't even play him a minute. So they didn't really give him a serious look. Now he has a legit and viable opportunity at only 19 years old with the Charlotte Hornets, the team that his brother plays for. LaMelo had a stellar season, Rookie of the Year. Why not give LiAngelo Ball a try? And you know what? That's what we're here to do. We're going to be breaking down the footage of LiAngelo Ball, his Summer League debut. We're going to be breaking down his highlights from all 4 of his games. I didn't want to go game by game like some people. Again, I want to break down his highlights from all 4 games. I'm gonna be kind of explaining to you guys some of the things that I like about his game, maybe some of the things that I don't like. All right, and then ultimately we're gonna give our thoughts on if we think he'll be on an NBA roster when the season, when the NBA season does start. But before we get started with this video, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell if you haven't done so already. We're grinding to 30K subscribers. Channel is growing. At an astronomical rate. Live streams are crazy. So again, salute to everybody with the donations to the channel, for the support, the likes, even the dislikes. But support to everybody for helping make FYF Sports grow to what it is. But we got to get back to LiAngelo Ball. This is a peculiar situation because once the rumors started to come out that LiAngelo Ball was practicing with the Charlotte Hornets, we saw those images of him in the locker room with Devontae Graham and all those players. Things really started to churn in a lot of people's mind. Is he getting a legit opportunity? Is this just going to be another one of those situations like we saw in Detroit? All right. What does this front office, what do they actually think about his skill sets? I mean, the one thing that was undeniable about LiAngelo Ball coming into Summer League was that the man could flat out score the ball, especially shoot the ball. He's an elite shooter. He's a specialist. But can he do some of the other things? All right. Does he have the intangibles that it takes to make it to the NBA, especially as an undrafted player? And that's what he's looking at right now. It's definitely an uphill battle. It's going to be a tall task to make this roster. But is he showing the Charlotte Hornets all of the things that they want to see out of a role player that's going to help them complete and fill out their roster going in the next season? What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get to the highlights, man. We're going to be breaking down all of the highlights from games 1 through 4. All right. And then we'll be able to give you guys a complete analysis and breakdown on what we think about LiAngelo Ball and his aspirations of making the NBA. Let's go ahead and get to the highlights. And there we have it right there. LiAngelo Ball is entering Summer League play for the first time. This was the first game against the Portland Trail Blazers Summer League team. And I think this was a great test because this Portland team, as many predicted, was a team built to actually win Summer League. So this is a lot of former NBA players. Great test for LiAngelo Ball in his first game. We're going to be watching some of these actions. I want to break this down for you. And right out the gate, they run an ATO for him. He knocks down the 3 very quickly. And that had to, for not just for LiAngelo, but for the coaching staff and for his family, just to see him be able to come out first shot in Summer League play. He shoots it with confidence, right? He runs his route correctly. ATO executed perfectly. He knocks down a 3. We're going to run through this game, but because a lot of people are just looking at the fact that he made the 3. But I think as a coach looks at and breaks down this play, they're looking at how will this translate into an NBA game? Whether he catches it, whether he makes the shot, is this something he can repeat and duplicate? Will it work in an actual NBA game? Well, let's run it back a few seconds. We're gonna give it a look because I want you. We gotta look at this from a very realistic point of view, especially if we all want to see him make an NBA roster. All right, but we're gonna go ahead and break this down really quick. Okay, so I like how he's able to sprint to his spot. All right. And we see so many guys in the NBA not just sprint to their spot, and they might sprint to their spot, but they're never shot ready. So he's sprinting to his spot. He's able to stay squared. I love that. All right. And his hands are already shot ready. All right. That has to be a great sign, especially for a guy that's probably nervous. And you know what? This guy's played pro ball overseas. So maybe he's not as nervous as what some people might assume, but he comes right out the gate shot ready. With the role that he may possibly have with the Charlotte Hornets, this is exactly what they're going to need from him. This is what I loved about his game the most, how his ability to sprint to all of his spots and get his shot off quickly. And what do we see here? He's able to get the shot off, highly contested, quick release, good follow through. Probably could have been a foul call, especially with this defender coming down in his landing zone. All right, but he comes, he knocks the shot down with ease, man. And like I said, that's one of the best attributes that I saw. He's able to get to his spots very quickly. Right here, I really appreciated this play because it turned out to be a broken play in transition. He ultimately made something out of nothing. Great tip to the big man for a layup right there by LiAngelo Ball. But again, look at that. I mean, that simply just comes from playing a lot of high-level basketball right there. Again, this looks like another set play. Drew up for LiAngelo. Ball reversals. And again, is able to catch the ball, especially if you're going to be a corner three-point shooter and specialist in the NBA. You have to be able to get your shot off quick. All right, they did a good job of rotating the ball. It's, you know, one of the biggest gripes with this Charlotte Hornets team is we didn't really see much ball movement. But when LiAngelo Ball when he touched the ball, he made the most of his opportunities. We see another look right here. It looks like another set play. And what does he do? And you know what? This was a good read by the point guard because I want to run this back. I want to run this back because in the NBA, we just talked about a play where LeBron drove towards strong side corner. And we saw a former clip of the shooter in the corner with his hands on his knees, shot ready. And it forced LeBron to pass the ball somewhere else on the court. LiAngelo Ball is always shot ready. And especially if you're strong side corner, that simply means the side of the court where the driver is attacking the basket. That defender can't help. If that defender helps at the slightest, that's an easy pass to the corner. Should be a high percentage three. And these are shots right here that you gotta love because he's able to knock them down at an efficient clip. We're gonna run it back real quick because I want you guys to check this out because this is something that you're gonna see at the NBA level with a specialist like LiAngelo Ball a lot. Another play right here is gonna be a great example of what you see in the NBA. Transition, able to knock the open shot down, efficient. You gotta love that out of him. Able to square up. We see so many NBA players miss these types of shots. Knocks it down. DHO. Again, all of the actions that LiAngelo Ball is scoring out of are all NBA reads and NBA actions. What we just saw right there was a 4-point play off of a DHO. We're going to run that back, and this is probably going to finalize his clips of game one. We'll get to game two. But he obviously they didn't this game. The end result of this game didn't turn out. But I don't think the Charlotte Hornets were looking to really win or really be highly competitive in these games as opposed to seeing what they had in some of these young stars. So we're going to run that play back really quick. And again, this is just a simple DHO. But you know what? These simple plays, these DHOs, these ATOs, after timeout plays, these are very common in the NBA. Very common things that you see all the time. And these players must be able to duplicate and replicate these things, without question. And they should be highly efficient doing so, especially if you're going to be a specialist in this league. But we're going to watch the DHO. He's able to get to the DHO. He's able to square up. All right. He squared up. That means he was able to step away from the big. Quick shot release, even though it's highly contested, he's able to get the shot off quick, and then he's also able to make the shot along with the foul. Again, I thought he should have got the 4-point play earlier in the game. He gets it there to finish off game one for LiAngelo Ball. And then we got the final game highlights right here. I think this game, LiAngelo, even though he didn't play many minutes, he showed a lot more of his NBA readiness right here. Another quick three right there. Again, a late pass by Bouknight. That's a late pass. It's probably a step late for him to even take and make that shot highly contested. I mean, salute to LiAngelo Ball for being ready to play. Great take to the basket. Not particularly sure if that will be a finish that would happen in the NBA, but I like the fact that he's aggressive and looking to score. We see so many guys in this league not looking to do that. All right, look at the defense right here. Walls up. All right. And then we're going to take that back right there because I want to emphasize the importance of this play right here and how he was able to guard a high-level offensive player without fouling. And we see so many guys in these situations simply foul because they don't have the defensive fortitude to stay down on the ground. Maybe they jump and the defender jumps into their bodies to draw the foul. All types of things. We rarely see guards. I mean, when you're talking about defense, when you're talking about very solid defense, you're only talking about guys like Draymond Green, the Ben Simmonses, the Drew Holidays. You rarely see guards outside of those guys that I just named wall up outside of the paint. He did a good job of just walling up, staying down, and defending without fouling against a very good player. We're going to take that back. Really want you guys to see this because these are plays, and I feel like the Charlotte Hornets scouting team, I think they're going to be running this back time and time again, wondering, can he duplicate this along with the offense that he can bring to this team? And that's going to be the biggest question. That's going to be the biggest question for him, especially being able to defend his position. One of the hardest positions to defend in the NBA. All right, so we see LiAngelo right here. He has Scotty Barnes on him. Scotty Barnes is trying to take him one-on-one. Scotty Barnes probably has the size advantage, physicality advantage. How can LiAngelo Ball hold his own? All right, so he doesn't go. So the number one thing that I appreciate what he did was because either some coaches have no middle mentality, which means absolutely nothing goes to the middle. You stay disciplined in your man baseline, or maybe sometimes they allow you to go middle so your man doesn't get an ISO going towards the baseline. It looks like in this particular system, they're not allowing anything to get to the middle of the court. You can kind of tell by how the defense is set up and how these guys are protecting the paint. But what he does is he stays locked in to the defensive principles of not allowing any middle. And as this play unfolds, all right, what does he do? Because he knows he has one step high towards the middle. So Scotty Barnes is not spinning middle. He knows he can only spin baseline. And LiAngelo does a good job of knowing that he doesn't have to win at the baseline because we see that he has a baseline rim protector right there. And Scotty Barnes sees this. This is one of the reasons why Scotty Barnes resorts to just taking the tough fadeaway jumper. But LiAngelo did a great job of not bailing him out with the bad foul or bad defense. All right, he walls up, stays vertical, great contest, makes Scotty Barnes take a bad shot. All right, air ball. All right, now they're out to the races right here. And this is a shot that I love right here. I love this shot right here because whenever you have players who can shoot like this without thinking, especially in transition, the way the NBA game is played today, you gotta love that he was willing to take this shot. And like I said, I know a lot of fans of LiAngelo Ball, I think they were a bit down because he didn't play the larger volume of minutes that they wanted him to see. But I think this staff saw exactly what they needed to see. I'm also positive that they've seen more of him in practice. So all of these things that are kind of new to you guys right now, they've probably seen these things 1,000 times over in practice. They just needed to see it unfold in the actual game. But as he takes this shot right here, I love the fact, make or miss, I love the fact that he was able to take this three in transition, because in transition, when you shoot threes and you miss them, generally that offensive rebound goes back to the team that's on offense because you have defense scrambling to get back. Right? Sometimes they over pursue, and those long rebounds usually go back to the team that shot the ball. So I love the fact that he was able to take this shot in transition, and even better when we watch him make the shot in transition. All right. Great job right here. Recognition. Finding your shooter in transition. He knocks the shot down. And then we have it right there. I mean, those are the highlights for LiAngelo Ball. Our assessment, at least my assessment of LiAngelo Ball, I saw early on in game one that he did a lot of things that NBA teams love. He's faster laterally. He can defend his position competently. Now, I know these are just summer league players, but against Portland, he was playing against an NBA guy in Blakely. Right? We saw him do it against Scotty Barnes, a lottery pick of this draft. I think he's much better defensively, or at least better defensively than many of us had assumed. Offensively, we see that he's gifted. He's willing to take and make tough shots, contested, wide open, it doesn't matter. He's always shot ready. He's usually always one of the first players up the court. Right? So we see him exhausting himself out there. Right? I think he understands that if he gets a role on this team, he's only going to be on the court limited minutes, not 30, not 40 minutes. And he needs to be going out there giving 1,000% on every play. I like how, even though this Charlotte Hornets team was extremely selfish, all right, Bouknight is still trying to figure out the point guard position. Missed so many reads and so many open looks. Kai Jones, same thing. We saw him get a multitude of charges, just being selfish, not kicking the ball back out to shooters like LiAngelo Ball. Look, I understand those are young player mistakes, and I'm not going to necessarily hold it to those guys. But what you want to watch for as a scout is, how is LiAngelo Ball reacting to those mistakes? Because a lot of times when these mistakes are made, and we saw it from other players in Summer League, a lot of times you'll see players hang their head, their body language will change, they'll be upset that they're not touching the ball. We never saw that at LiAngelo Ball the entire preseason, and he dealt with this team's inability to move the ball all 4 games. And he still always sprinted to his spot. He was always shot ready. And when he caught the ball, as opposed to sulking like we see some NBA players do, he was able to still get his shot off, lock in, and knock down those shots at a high clip and at a very efficient clip. Now, the biggest question is, when we summarize all of these things, when we talk about how much he's improved on the defensive end, all right, when we talk about how his shot is already NBA ready, all right, when we look at his size, can he make this Charlotte Hornet roster based on what we've seen so far? My answer is LiAngelo Ball will be in the NBA next year. I don't believe he'll be in the NBA under an outright contract. I believe that he will be a two-way player. But as a specialist and as a guy in the NBA, when shooters are at a premium, I think that he will be given an opportunity to shine. I've been hearing too many reports from teams that have already formulated scouting reports on him. All right. And I've heard this directly from personnel within the NBA. So many teams are already formulating scouting reports, getting their own thoughts about him and how he can be inserted into their lineups, whether it's an injury, anything happens, whether if they need him to enter into a lineup, will he be ready to go? And I think he checked off a lot of the boxes where NBA player and personnel and staff all had questions. All right, you'd be lying if you came into this thinking he was a all-time great defender. I think none of us knew how he would defend at this level. All right, none of us knew how much energy and effort he would be able to give on every single possession. And I think LiAngelo Ball did a great job of checking all the boxes. Now, he very well may end up not on a roster at all. But you know what, though? If you are LiAngelo Ball, and for whatever reason, let's say you don't make a roster, you have absolutely zero reason to hang your head or hold your head down, because I mean, if there was any player out there that actually left it all on the court with the minutes that he was given, it was LiAngelo Ball. And I tell people, the lack of minutes that he was given, the lack of minutes that LiAngelo Ball was given, especially in Summer League, where there's so many question marks with all of these players. Some of these players are new. A lot of the players they haven't seen before. They don't know how they're going to use them. Some of these players, they have to run them in multiple plays, multiple sets, time and time again to try to figure out what they have. But not with LiAngelo Ball. And I think that's because I think they already know what they have in them. And they don't need to play him 30, 40 minutes a game in a summer league action just to see what they have. I think based on what I've seen, based on how they used him, based on some of the things that this coaching staff has said about him, I honestly believe that LiAngelo Ball will be on the NBA roster. If it's not the Hornets, which it's probably going to be the Hornets, because they are definitely short on guards. All right, they're definitely short on depth on that bench. All right, they need a specialist. They don't really have any three-point specialists outside of Terry Rozier. All right, you need somebody who can score the ball, or at least come into these games with a scoring mindset, because you have Gordon Hayward on your team, one of the most fragile players in the NBA. So you want to be able to find ways to manufacture and score buckets in the event that any of your big shooters, your big scorers go down with injury. And we saw that really hurt this team with the Martin twins, who were great defensively, but they really couldn't give much offensively. And I think Jello gives a really good balance. Similar to how the Martin twins gave balance defensively, I think he can give good balance, or at least Jello can give good balance offensively and defensively to a certain degree, and potentially even average, 8 to 10, maybe 15 minutes a game in the NBA as constructed today. But man, we definitely got to give a shout out to, the Ball family. Lavar Ball, man, he just seems prophetic every time he talks. I've been a big supporter of Lavar Ball. I bought the merch, appreciate how he brought up his sons. And when we look at Lavar Ball, if you look at what Lavar Ball did for his sons, and this is coming from me, playing high school ball myself, I could literally only count on one hand how many times my parents came to one of my basketball games because they worked so much. The fact that he sacrificed so much, was able to show up, and not just show up at his son's game, coach, build his sons up, encourage them, motivate them, to all of them to be able to play at the NBA level. That's something special. And I think a lot of people took that for granted until they saw how good Lonzo and LaMelo actually were. And I think it's sad. That it took Lonzo and LaMelo actually having to be great in the NBA before you start giving Lavar Ball his roses for being a great father. Because there were so many question marks coming in the league. A lot of people were making these insinuations saying that, his mouth and his sons are going to be targets and everybody's going to try to lock him up and they're going to ruin his career. And Lavar Ball said, hold on, that ain't pressure to them. He said that was never pressure to them. It's just basketball. And his sons have all proven that. And you know what? If I'm an NBA team, you got to understand that Lavar Ball's been right. He's been 2 for 2 so far. Everything that he said about LaMelo, 1000% correct. Everything that he said about Lonzo, even though Lonzo got off to a rocky start, multiple coaches, and then he was on a team that brought LeBron James in abruptly, which kind of changed the whole outlook and format of that team. And I don't blame him for that. Everything that he said about his sons is proven to be 100% correct. And if I'm the Charlotte Hornets, I'm saying, do we really want to take the risk of being another team that passes up on LiAngelo Ball when Lavar Ball's been right twice already? Do we have a diamond in the rough sitting right here on our summer G League team or our summer league team that we could potentially use, and all we have to do is just utilize them in the NBA? I actually compel the Charlotte Hornets, do not be scared to offer this guy either a minimum deal or a two-way deal to get this guy on the roster full time, because I think he's earned it. All right. He's shown himself to be a great teammate. He's shown himself to be a player that's going to come in and accept any role. All right. He's going to work hard. Obviously there's some things that he needs to work on. His ball handling looked a little shaky. All right. Sometimes his shot selection was a little shaky. There were some times where I felt like instead of taking a contested three, a slight pump fake and a side step will give you a better shot. Maybe those are things that will naturally develop once he gets to the next level. But ultimately, I think he's done, and he showed enough positive signs that I think he earned himself a roster spot. Not because he's LaMelo's brother, not because he's Lonzo's brother, but I think he went out there and performed himself to earn this spot with the Charlotte Hornets. And whether he makes the team or not, man, I'm definitely giving him, I give him a big salute for his performance in the Summer League, the way he showed up and played. And if he doesn't make a team, or if he doesn't make this Charlotte team, like I said, I expect him to be on an NBA roster this season, because I don't think he's no longer a secret. And as I talk with people, Phoenix Suns, when I talk with people, the Washington Wizards and all of these teams, I'm talking to some of these scouts, even the Brooklyn Nets. People are starting to notice. Teams are now on notice, and now Charlotte can't hide it any longer. So Charlotte's going to have some decisions to make. Are they going to do like the New Orleans Pelicans and let one of the Ball brothers walk away for free, and now your franchise is left with more questions than answers? Or do you take a chance on a player who's shown you right now that he's going to play selflessly and he's going to do everything that it takes to win a game? And we know that because we literally just watched him play in a circumstance where players weren't passing them the ball. Players were making bad decisions. Some of these guys weren't giving max effort on the defensive end. So if he can play through all of that, he can definitely play for the Charlotte Hornets. But you guys, let me know what you think about this in the comments. Let me know your thoughts on LiAngelo Ball. I mean, give me your honest assessment. All right. Do the lack of minutes worry you? The lack of minutes don't necessarily worry me. I've already discussed that. But you guys, let me know what you think about his performance in Summer League. Obviously, the fans loved him. Every time he touched the ball, you could hear the crowd cheering. It was the loudest in the arena. So obviously, he has a lot of fanfare, a lot of support, and a lot of people looking to see this man succeed on the basketball court. But you guys hit the comments. Let me know what you think about this video. Let me know your thoughts and projections on where LiAngelo Ball will land. Hey, but as FYF Sportsman is another great podcast episode. We're going to be back. We got an epic live stream coming tonight. Make sure you guys tune in to that. Check your notifications. So if you make sure you hit that notification bell and then also hit that tab next to it. I want you to follow us. Follow all of us. And if you're not getting these YouTube notifications, follow us. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on IG. We drop notifications there as well. There should be absolutely no reason for you to miss a live. Been seeing so many of you guys in the comments. Look, y'all. Coming onto the live panel, we don't bite. We're not sharks. We just want to hear your opinion. I want you guys, look, if you haven't been on the live panel, make this an open invitation to say, look, I'm going to take anything that I've contested FYF Sports Zone. I'm going to pull up to the live and we're going to talk about it because that's what this channel is about. It's about engaging. It's about family. It's about culture. It's about community. And the only way we can make that happen is if some of you chat warriors actually start pulling up to the live panel, helping us get those unique and epic debates that I know everybody has been looking for. Hey, but it's FYF Sports, man. It's been another great podcast episode. We'll be back with more sports and news later. But until then, it's FYF Sports.